The jobbers knew that they were jobbers. Job guys. It's not a shame to be a job guy. You need job guys.
The Job Guys. What the world isn't watching.
What's happening, everybody? The Job Guys back with you one more time. Nitro Nick in the house as he is every summer. Good to see you.
Great to have
you.
Thanks
life.
for having me.
As always, I'm Ryan here as well. And we have, well, quite a show for you today. As if we figured, Nick, we don't want anybody to have to sit through this. So we sat through it for you.
Thank you.
Speaking of King of the Ring, 1995, quite possibly the worst pay-per-view in the history of the WWE. And Nick, neither of us have seen this in 30 years.
No.
As we are here on the 30th anniversary today, there's a huge reason why we have not seen it in 30 years. We found it out as we went back and watched. This is as bad as advertised.
It is awful. I remember I bought it. Right.
Yep.
I owe my mom a huge apology, and my dad
And $30.
$30.
Yeah, with interest.
I remember watching this. I remember thinking it was terrible back then. I think it's even worse now, as you have more to compare to over the years. This, I can't believe we sat through this thing. And this is our first run it back that we've actually watched together.
Yeah, first time ever.
We've never done that before. We've sat in the same room, watched the show together, thought that might add something to it. It didn't. I don't
think anything could add anything. Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
You know, we do these run it backs, and thank you for watching. If you've never seen one, we'll tell you as we always do. We have a number of categories at the end of the show that we talk about. Best match, worst match, best scene, who won the night, things like that. We sat here and looked at each other for the last 3 hours.
For as long as the pay-per-view, just to fill out the sheet.
What do we say? It's all so bad.
F***ing thing sucks!
And usually we did the SummerSlam 95 review, and that was so bad that it was funny.
We had fun.
Like,
Yeah.
we could make fun of, like, oh, Bertha Faye, that's funny. There's some funny things. There's nothing funny here at all. Like, there's nothing even remotely interesting. They were like, what are we going to make fun of? Like, what kind of jokes are we going to make here? Because this is so bad and just generic, really, more than anything. Even worse than bad. It was just,
And it's boring, non-eventful. And me and you have talked about this for a long time. I don't even think you can really defend or argue. A lot of people say there's two sides to everything.
yeah.
If I come out or you come out and say 1995, and I'm not just talking WWE, I'm talking around the board.
Yeah, the whole business.
It's the worst year in professional wrestling. I will never watch this pay-per-view again.
No.
There is not a chance, and I can't think I'd ever watch that SummerSlam that we reviewed again.
No. Royal
God
Rumble,
forbid you're going to make us review 11.
which we said was the second worst Mania of all time.
And not by much. So this is just a brutal year, and it stinks too because me and you had really gotten into wrestling at this point, and we did like it, and we did like some of the characters, but there's so much bad.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
And I was still watching back then, unfortunately. I know some of our other friends had gotten out or were about to fall out completely after this. I was still watching at this point. And knew it was bad then. But yeah, shoot, going back and watching it now, holy smokes. And thank God for these guys right here, the NWO, a year later coming out. Austin turning into what he turned into a year later. Because if we had to watch some of this for the next amount of time, holy cow. And some of the guys, we're going to get into it right away, right out of the gate. Some of the guys they were trying to make stars, they weren't going to work.
No.
They just weren't going to work.
That's one of those things, me and you were talking, like, when someone brought them into the creative room, how did you not fire someone when they were like, yeah, Savio Vega, he looks like a title guy. You're done. Out of here. Like, I mean,
which title?
Yes. It just, a lot of these just bad characters, bad gimmicks. Some of these guys could wrestle.
Sure.
There's no doubt
Savio
about that.
wrestle,
You've always been a big fan of Hakushi's in-ring ability. But not the gimmick.
No.
It just... Oh, Rough time.
So here we are. Ironically, we are in Philadelphia. There was an uprising in Philadelphia at this time called ECW, which was really starting to catch fire in 1995.
Yeah.
So they're at the Spectrum, and somehow they got 18,000 people in this building, which is a shock that even happened here. But yeah, so there is an uprising coming in ECW, and we hear a little bit about it later in the show.
We do.
They start in a helicopter above Philly. They're going around. Then they go to some girl who I totally forgot was
Vaguely
even there.
remember.
Her name is Stephanie. She was there for like that
Not
summer.
McMahon. Not
McMahon, no. And she is the announcer, the like sideline reporter, Jackie Redmond, if you will, of that day. She was only around for a little bit. She's here. She goes, hey, we've got something for you. We've got a Coliseum video exclusive match for you. And you're like, oh, wow, what did we get? Let me tell you, as if it wasn't bad enough, we are going to start it out with Savio Vega against 97-year-old IRS. Thank you so much. Like, oh my gosh, what a treat. Thank you for that.
If you didn't like IRS to begin with, or he doesn't age like a fine wine. You know, like, I mean, he gets
Like milk.
yeah, he ages like a beer left in sun. Like, I mean, you know, the gimmick doesn't get better. I mean, and
what do you do?
we said this.
And how many times are you going to continue to not do your taxes? I mean, come on, Ric Flair.
Right.
Let's get it together here. How many years in a row are you going to
Thank
go?
God for Wesley Snipes or something he can go get. But you know, but he just, you know, it's just gimmick after gimmick, and IRS. Yeah, it just wasn't great. I mean,
No.
I guess we did say.
And it's
Money
4
Inc.
years later.
Money Inc. was about the
Made
pinnacle
sense.
of IRS. I mean, it made sense. He's with the money guy.
Well, and this is 2 years after
Right.
Money Inc. too.
Right.
So this was a qualifying match, and they had to have it. Savio gets thrown in because Razor Ramon got hurt, and they're buddies together. They got the Latin connection, so they're buddies. Razor is actually in Savio's corner here for these matches. So they give you that match, and this is the start of a push for Savio. He had to wrestle 4 times on this evening, where everybody else was only supposed to wrestle 3 times. It's not like the King of the Ring is today, where they have matches on Raw and SmackDown all the time, and then just the finals is at Night of Champions. No, they had the whole tournament here.
Right.
But this was the qualifying match. Savio wins. And then Savio has to fight again right away.
There's no way they don't go like, okay, Savio, we'll cycle through the rest of the first round and let you go. Nope. Like, curtain opens, closes, he comes right back out, man.
He's got to go right back. And not only does he have to go right back, he has to go right back against Yokozuna, who is currently the tag team champion of the world, 2-time former world champ.
They must have thought that this was really going to push him. Like, we're getting him out there.
did.
He's hot. He just won a match, tired, beat up for and now he's got to face a former world champion, 500-pound Yokozuna.
At this point, 641 pounds. Now, that may have been an exaggeration, but you can't tell. He's way bigger even than he used to be. They say he's the heaviest wrestler in the history of WWE. He stacks Calhoun and whoever else, forget it. 641 pounds. But Yoko, even though he is the tag champ at this point, they've kind of like pushed him to the back. He's not a contender
It wasn't
anymore.
working right. It wasn't. I don't know why, and I feel you had talked to me about this. As kids coming off the Andre Bundy stud, you know, the big guy era, he just didn't. I don't know why he didn't work. Like, I just didn't buy
connect.
him. Yeah, it did not work. And maybe, you know what, also, as you push those guys out, your big guys kind of went more toned, like Diesel, Sid, and you know, so now, I mean, maybe fans were looking more as that's the new big guy, and Yoko just kind of seemed not like a world champ. Again, I don't think he was terrible or anything like that. I actually liked him with Owen. I thought the tag team kind of worked.
Yeah.
But
Big guy, little guy.
I didn't like him as a champ, and I don't think people remember those two main events as WrestleMania as being top-tier main events with him in them.
Well, you got to think, he came in right after the Hulkamania era, right after Macho, right after Warrior, end of 92. Then they put the belt on him in 5 months.
Immediately.
Right away. And Brett nobody took him really seriously yet. And then he beats Brett. And he's only there 5 months. Right. He never spoke. So everybody was just kind of like, yeah, okay, but, I don't know. It was weird. Anyway, Savio, good thing for him, though. He wins a match. Now he beats the two-time former champion right away by a countout because Owen came down, started getting into it with the Razor. Then he got thrown into the steps. Countout. Savio wins. Nice push for him, though. He beats the two-time former champ. At the same time, though, it's like, who the heck is Savio Vega? Weren't you Quang like 10 minutes ago? The Supreme Fighting Machine, or is that Kama? Which one's which?
Kama's the Supreme Fighting Machine. Quang was... Didn't he spit something? Was Quang a spitter?
He probably did. He had the whole ninja outfit on. Is what Quang had on.
That was good.
Yeah. So anyway, Vince says this is like Rocky Balboa. So there we go. Savio is now. Wow. Look out now. We said, what a win over the two-time former champ. You hang on, partner. Wait till the next one. He has to fight the winner of Bob Holly and the Roadie.
Main event anywhere in the country. Absolutely.
Look out now.
Yeah. And we gave him a little credit. We're sitting there going, you know what? This might be the match of the night. They're moving good and they're doing everything. Then they botched the finish of that match.
Yeah, the finish was weird. Like, Bob lifts his shoulder up, and it's
out.
Quite obvious.
It's from the camera. It's camera side.
And they keep 1, 2, 3, and they take a close up. They show the replay of it, and you're going,
why would you show the replay? And especially, why would you show the replay from that angle? Like, get me another camera from like the back where I can't see that side.
This match, Bob Holly. For those that don't know, you remember Hardcore Holly. He had just become Bob Holly. If you remember when he first came in, his name was Thurman Sparky Plug.
What? Didn't he ride to
STP?
Didn't he ride to the ring in like a go-kart or something, right?
He might have.
Like a car,
I don't remember,
or something.
But
like
they did vignettes where he was like by a stock car, and he's like, yeah, I'm a racer, and now I want to be a wrestler. Well, then you must stink at racing if you're quitting that to go do something else.
And I always thought that even back then, of all the athletes, like you got baseball players, hockey players, football players, basketball, the race car guy is going to come in and cause problems.
Aren't they this tough?
Yeah, like who's next? The jockey? Like I mean, like why would you bring him in? Like I
just won the Kentucky Derby. Now I'm coming for you.
Yeah, he just never. That gimmick, the era of bad gimmicks.
Yeah. Bob Sparkplug Holly. They felt they needed to repackage the gimmick. You know what? Thurman Sparky Plug, that's not good enough. You know what works? Bob Sparkplug Holly. Oh, we fixed it.
You're a genius.
He's the next Hogan. Yeah, he comes down,
in his own mind.
His outfit is ridiculous.
Always has
it's a singlet. He's got checkered flags up and down his legs. He's got the WWF logo on his butt. Like, could you be more generic?
Yes.
It's so bad. It's so bad. And then we start, you and I always talk about the commentary and how great it is. Vince and Jess, Vince and Gorilla and Bobby, whatever that combination, those three dudes are just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it slipped a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. Now we have gotten to the awful era of commentary. Yeah. And we've talked about it before. At some point, Vince was never great, but at some point, Vince becomes a cartoon.
Yes.
And the unbelievable and the 1, 2, he got him. He didn't.
No, he didn't. No.
And it's like 5 seconds into the match. And the guy's, like we talked about with Holly, like the guy's clearly out at like 1.5. He's like, he got him. And he does it every time.
Right off the start, too. It could be a suplex right off to a car.
2 seconds.
Hang on.
At what point, though, did he decide, hey, here's what I'm going to do nonstop? It's weird. There we go. It's going to be the roadie is moving on. He has Jeff Jarrett with him, by the way, which is, again, now we've noted people not wrestling so far. Razor Ramon and Jeff Jarrett.
And you're not a Jeff Jarrett fan.
No.
But you did
at least he's the champ.
You did make the comment, like, you looked on this card, how is he not on it?
Right. And I get it, the tournament is taking up most of your time.
Right.
But when you go down the list and you see the dudes that aren't wrestling, you're like,
we'll keep naming
no wonder it isn't, worth the crap. All right, so the roadie of all people is moving on. Now we have the longest match of the day. It goes the full 15. It is Kama. He later became Kama Mustafa. You may know him as Papa Shango. You may know him as the Godfather.
Or the Good Father.
Or the Good Father. He is taking on Shawn Michaels, who is getting his big babyface push here after WrestleMania 11. He's obviously going to win the title there at the next Mania. And again, here comes more bad production. It was like, did they have WCW people shooting and punching? The director was like a WCW guy, because the production here is very bad. Kama throws like some wreath thing or something.
Yes.
And they're on a wide shot, so you don't know what's going on. And because he's feuding currently with The Undertaker.
Right.
So I assume like there's some like druid people sitting down there, and you're like, is it because did they bring out a wreath for his funeral or something?
But they didn't do anything with them. They just sit there and look weird.
It's goofy, man. So
God.
Kama is wearing a giant, like Run DMC. Mr. T's looking at this and going, where'd you get that, son?
Shut up, fool!
This thing is massive. It's as thick as Damien, and it hangs all the way down to his belly button. That is supposed to be the melted down urn. Now, if you remember, the urn is like this big. Apparently, when you melt it down, it just becomes, it expands or something.
The Bessemer process.
I don't even know what that means, but I'll take it, because none of this makes any sense.
So it's not but
it makes no sense whatsoever. The match is actually okay because of Michael selling. We know he can sell, but it goes the distance. Time limit draw.
I won't lie, just quickly. This was kind of where I kind of lose disinterest in. I didn't want to cheer him.
No. Well, look at him.
Right.
He does an interview in the back. He looks like he just came from Chippendales. I
get why the teenage girls cheer him.
Sure.
I mean, good-looking guy. But as me, I want to see someone kick his teeth down his throat. But yeah, it just that face Michaels. I did like other face turn Michaels, but that one did not work for me.
Even as a heel, I didn't like him as much as I did in the Rockers. And then at the beginning, I'm like, all right, this guy's going to be sweet. I think this guy's going somewhere. And then it just kind of was like, he looks like he just came from Chippendales. I don't want to, I don't know. But yeah, now as a good guy. And then he went even over the top. He starts doing Playgirl right, I believe, this summer.
Well, that's where he also starts doing the little hip shake when he goes down. And you're just like, as a teenage boy, I'm like,
yeah, this ain't for me, brother.
This ain't for me, brother. I'm on Brett's side.
Yeah, no question. No doubt. Okay, so then we go, because he's still around for some reason. And he's going around Philadelphia, like, making fun of everything in the town. He sticks a little tiny carrot in a cheesecake. He's like, no, it's healthy for you. Like, just all sorts of dumb stuff that's really bad now. It was bad then. Again, as a 15-year-old, I'm like, what am I watching? Okay, so now here we go. This is actually a match.
Yeah.
Now, we already said, look who's in this. Bob Holly, The Roadie, Savio Vega, IRS. Now, this guy is not much better, but you knew they were doing something with Mabel from Men on the Mission, and he is a monster.
And we should note, Kama and Michaels went to a decision
Yeah, and
draw.
they're out. They're both out. So the winner of this match moves on to the finals. It's The Undertaker against Mabel. I think most everybody is like, well, Taker or Michaels is going to win this.
That's what I thought.
But you knew Mabel was like a dark horse just because they're doing something here. He pins him. He pins him. Granted, there was outside interference. Kama comes down.
Yep.
Kama does something. Then Mabel nails him. And Taker is pinned for the first time since Hogan pinned him at Survivor Series 1991. So over, almost 4 years. And the guy finally goes down via pin. The Druid people are there, in the front row again. They don't explain anything. They're just there. Is it just me, or did the dude look like Mike Myers from Sprockets on Saturday Night Live? He looked like...
Oh, goodness, yes.
Now I'm as happy as a little girl.
I was as happy as a little girl.
Now's the time on Sprockets when we dance. That's what this dude looked like, if you can picture that. And that's what he looked like.
You start to think of this. This is another... Ludwig Borga ends Tatanka. Mabel ends the Takers. There's so much. These are big win. This is a big pin. He pins the Undertaker. I remember I was stunned, Ryan, when I saw this as a kid.
Well, only Hogan never lost. I don't know if you know. The guy hadn't been pinned in 4 years. Only Hogan never got pinned.
I know. But I was stunned, Ryan. I could not believe Mabel beat the Undertaker.
The problem is, and even again at 14, we rip on Bird Girl all the time, and I rip on Stephanie Vaquer for the stupid horns. Because you're just like, dude, you look stupid. Mabel looks stupid. He's got the big parachute pants on and everything, and the purple, and when they were good guys, he had whoop, there it is, on his butt. I guess when you're not showing a drive-in theater on his back, they put whoop, there it is on there. Even you remember when that song was big.
Yeah.
But then it didn't even last 6 months because then it's Snoop and it's Dr. Dre and it's Tupac and it's all the
change.
And I guess they tried to do that a little here. Now he's Dark Side and whatever, but he's still wearing that outfit, and he looks like an idiot.
It looks like, you mentioned it earlier, Flushing Fair in town. He looks like he was working there or something. It is. Go back and check it out. It's a terrible out. It's just...
It looks like a parachute.
Yes.
It looks like a massive
he got caught up in it, and they were like, we still got to go. I know you're trying to get out of that parachute. Just go.
Yeah, it's like a hot air balloon. No, I'm taking Mabel up in the air.
Dear Lord.
It just looks bad. But here we go. It's the Hogan model, though, because Diesel's the champion. And Diesel is huge, almost 7 feet tall. It's like Hogan. Hogan's a good guy. How do you get sympathy on a guy who's bigger than everybody else? Well, you go get King Kong Bundy. You go get Andre, One-Man Gang, Boss Man. Go down the line. Other giant dudes are the only people you can get sympathy on Hogan. Same thing here. Diesel, and he's jacked. So you're like, well, we can't throw, I don't know, Shawn Michaels. They tried that. We need another monster. Go get Mabel. That's what Vince knows.
Yeah. And we said, what do people book? They book what they know.
Now we've got the Roadie taking on Savio in the semifinal. They do an interview beforehand. You can tell that the Roadie actually does have some charisma.
Yeah.
You never knew it when he was just standing behind Jeff Jarrett, but you can tell he calls himself the Road Dogg a couple times, which is interesting.
Yep.
Because, that didn't happen for quite a while. And then the Roadie runs into Jeff Jarrett, and he gets rolled up for the win. Savio moving on. I've got nothing about this at all.
No, I mean, the match wasn't terrible, but it's just two guys no one cared about. I just at all.
So now Savio gets interviewed. We didn't mention, we talked about how bad the commentary is. We did not mention Doc Hendricks is doing color commentary on this show. He may have done some other shows. I don't remember because, again, 95 so bad I don't ever go back and watch it. He does an interview with Savio right outside of the ring here, a post-game interview. And Savio is speaking Spanish. And Doc is translating as he's talking.
Not so accurate of translation.
Yeah, I don't think that's quite what he was saying.
No.
He basically runs down every stereotype you can think of. He's like, no way, because he knows now he has to face Mabel in the finals. and he's saying whatever he's saying, and he goes, no way I can beat Mabel. I'm going to get demolished. I'm going to have to go back to stealing hubcaps. So that ages well.
Yeah.
There's that. Okay. So they show the crown, kind of like they do now. Dude, this thing looks like they were at Burger King 20 minutes before this, and they took Bob Holly's WWF sticker on his butt and just put it on the... It looks bad.
You mentioned this before, Ryan. It's so gosh darn hard because even when the WWE is usually at its lowest or worst, their production still stands strong. And they do bring it. The $1 million belt, I believed it was a $1 million belt, Ryan. It looked like
That's why there's not one on the wall, because I don't have $1 million.
There you go.
Yeah.
This crown, it would have been better, like you had said, to go to Burger King and just get the cardboard fold thing, set it down on top, and be like, there you go.
And when Mabel wins, you go, you rule. Yeah. Stick it on its head.
Dude, that would have made... I would go back and watch the pay-per-view if that happened.
Moment of the night.
Moment of the night, right there. You rule.
Oh, man. Oh, crap.
It's so cheesy, though. Everything is cheesy.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's bad. It's like what is Alice in Wonderland or whatever? This is like Vince's Wonderland.
Yeah.
Like every cheesy thing you could think of, they find a way to do it here. Okay, one of the biggest matches, probably the biggest match of the night as far as like names and whatever. It's not the main event. It's Bret Hart taking on Jerry Lawler, who have been feuding for 2 years at this point. This one is a kiss my foot match, and they have shown King, and they did leading up to this. He was getting his feet ready. He wasn't washing them. He was wearing the same socks for weeks.
Got a hole in it, grunge dirt all over it.
They zoom into that thing, dude. It looks like he has leprosy. And it doesn't look good whatsoever. So if Bret has to kiss this thing, it's going to be bad. Match was kind of short. I guess it was like 9 minutes long, but it seemed shorter than that.
But it was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was a good match.
Bret wins with the sharpshooter. Looks like he's not going to let it go again, like at SummerSlam 93, and then they reverse the decision. He finally does let it go. Now he's got to kiss Bret's feet. But Bret has a little surprise for him, doesn't he?
He does. Bret heads up on the turnbuckle. Bret takes off his foot, puts it, and makes... And we should say this is not as much of a kiss my foot match as a I'm going to put my foot in your mouth match.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that he got... It was... And then Bret... Maybe I didn't do enough. After he has to put his own sweaty foot in Lawler's mouth, he makes Lawler shoves his own foot. And to Lawler's credit, I don't know how old he is. Lawler bends. I mean, he is able to
professional athlete.
There you go. He takes that nasty, grimy foot, and he makes Lawler kiss his own foot.
So that was really kind of one of the highlights of the night. We have 2 more matches, though. That is not the final match at all. We've got the finals of the King of the Ring, which is also not the last match. Mabel and Savio, they come out. Nick, there's no reaction for either guy. Now, they've seen both of these guys. This is now the 4th time they've seen Savio, but there's no reaction for either guy when they come down. So you're already like, uh-oh. It ain't just me at home that doesn't care.
No.
None of these people care either.
Mabel at least a little bit, but this Savio came out of nowhere. Just this push to the final. He doesn't have a fan base. He doesn't have he doesn't have a major feud to look back on, to my knowledge, that I can remember.
Not yet. He fights Austin like in a year.
And this is just, you could hear crickets, man. Everybody, it's time to go get a soda and popcorn.
And imagine you buy a ticket to see King of the Ring, and you're thinking like, hey, Undertaker's going to win. Maybe Shawn Michaels is going to win. In the finals is Savio against Mabel.
In my opinion, that sucked.
Yeah, no wonder they weren't happy.
Was Ramon advertised in this tournament before he got hurt?
I'd have to go back, unfortunately, and watch all the superstars. I think he was. He got hurt, had the ribs taped or whatever.
Right.
And then Savio took his spot. That's why he had to qualify there at the very beginning of the show.
Because I think if you go up and down this... Savio is going to be one of my last couple picked if you're like, pick someone you think is going to win. I'm going to say Taker. I'm going to say Michaels. I'm going to say...
You don't even know who he is.
No. Oh, man.
Weren't you Quang?
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
someone comes out of nowhere and you push them right to the moon. I mean, what kind of company does that?
Well, he's not from Japan. So, if he was from Japan, that would be a little different. We didn't mention, by the way, my boy Hakushi came down, and that's how that
the dude can
Bret
go.
Hart how that all went down there with Bret and the King. So,
Whatever happened to him?
Hakushi?
Do you know?
I have no idea. It'll be on AEW next week, probably.
Japan.
No reaction to either guy. And then there finally is a reaction in the crowd.
Yes, there is.
And they're so bored that an ECW chant breaks out. And this is in 95. So they're really just starting to get going big time. And there's a big ECW chant, and Vince is like, listen to him. And then he realized what they said. Don't listen to him. Never mind. Unbelievable. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. So, and again, this was as bad as he'd been all night with the 1, 2, he got him. No, he didn't.
I think
thought he got him.
I think the bigger the match, the worse he was.
It might be.
Because they
There's
had
something on the
more
line.
big. Yeah, the matches went longer. They had more impact moves. Yeah, more on the line, more impact moves.
So there's a splash for the win. King Mabel. Razor then gets in there, tries to help out because they're beating up Savio. Then Razor gets dealt on. He gets splashed. He gets elbowed from the top. And you mentioned, you're like, I thought he was hurt. Now he's taking all these. He's like, I mean, maybe that was storyline, a way to get Savio over. But yeah, he's taking all sorts from a 500-pound dude.
Right.
So
Kid
there's
comes
that.
down. Kid gets worked.
Yeah, Kid gets in the ring. Kid gets beat up. So then they have the coronation.
It took forever for him to read the script.
Sir Mo. He is now Sir
And anointed.
Mo. He's got, apparently they wrote up this scroll right that second because, he's reading off a scroll.
Yeah, we didn't know he was going to win.
Hear ye. He's reading this whole thing and he keeps waiting and stopping. Meanwhile, the crowd's pelting.
Water bottle. I mean, yes, it looks, 96 Bash at the Beach, except this was really, I don't want to see this.
Dude, and Mabel took 2 right in the head. Whatever
and
they
he
were.
ain't no Scott Hall. He ain't going to be able to,
No. Well,
smooth
because
that
in
off.
one hand, he has a giant sword.
McIntyre's.
Yeah, is that where McIntyre got it? It wasn't Vince's sword. He actually borrowed it from Mabel. He's sitting there with this giant sword for whatever reason. They are just pelting these guys with trash. And it's hard to argue, Then Kid, Razor, and Savio, after the coronation, like a bunch of sore losers, then try to go get up on stage. Mind you, Mabel won clean.
Right.
Also. So they try to get up on stage and they can't get up there. They look like chumps.
And they're not only, like today, you're getting held back by 20 security guards.
Right.
It takes the whole, there's 4 dudes holding 3 superstars back.
Yeah, and they're like my grandpa's age.
Yeah, and these guys, it just made them all look terrible.
They didn't look good at all. They go to the back. Lawler is in the bathroom.
Puking.
Your favorite part.
Oh, God, I had to turn away.
He's spitting up. He's puking. He's got a bottle of Scope. He's got some Crest. He's trying to clean his mouth out. And he's just spitting everywhere, man. It's all over the mirror. All right, one more match. It's the main event.
Thank God.
Diesel and the recently face Bam Bam Bigelow taking on Sid and Tatanka from the $1 Million
Fresh
Corporation.
off main eventing WrestleMania. I still can't believe that. Go ahead.
And so these two are together. They have an interview with Sid and Tatanka. Sid, you think one of the most underrated dudes
He
of all
might be
time.
the most. I don't know. And I know that people kind of get, I don't know if popped is the right word or pushed or more respect when they pass. God, R.I.P. Sid. I don't know where this was his whole career. He has been, I've always loved Sid. I think he's awesome. We got a guy out there, E.G. He is always been the biggest Sid fan. I mean, he's probably told his significant other, KG, all about Sid and probably used some lines, you know. But you know, he loves it, and I've loved him too, man. He's shut up. And you said this even today. He is your, like when we say today, if you had to make a wrestler, it's Randy Orton, right? That's what people say. Like he's the prototype over like his body, face, look. Sid was that. Sid is, and for all the people that hate him, Ryan, how many WrestleManias has this guy main evented?
That would be dos.
Not a lot of people.
How many? His Philip Cornelius Brooks the fourth.
0.5.
Yeah, 0.5. He did half of one. Yeah.
But yeah,
here's what it is. He had a few of those lines. We're live, pal. And then this mind's man's mind. I got half the brain you do. Obviously, those are viral, and that's all anybody thinks about now. Go watch this interview. This interview is
awesome.
Great.
It's great.
And go watch his run, even though we didn't want to see Hogan Sid. We wanted Flair Hogan at WrestleMania 8. Go watch those interviews. It is so good. He played the psycho role so well. And again, as I always say, I don't know how he talks. He doesn't move his jaw when he talks.
No,
and
he
then
doesn't.
he starts smiling like
But it works.
He's got the Hugh Morris type thing where he's laughing. Now he's serious. He's laughing. Dude, it's great. It's great. But all anybody wants to talk about is, I have half the brain that you do.
And also, he is unfortunately on the losing side of the ratings war during the entire Monday Night Wars. Yep. And that's not his fault.
No.
Some of the stuff he was doing when they were when each side was losing was some of the best stuff on each show. You know, like he was, I thought he was not the problem why you were losing.
No. This interview is great. So then we have the match. I don't really remember much of anything from this match.
It's a tag match. It's not.
Sid ends up
walking away.
Yeah, Tatanka gets jackknifed.
Nash pulled him up from the pin, and Tatanka, and he pointed, and I said, "I want you, Sid."
And then Sid walks out.
Sid's supposed to be scared, I guess, or I don't know. And Sid leaves, and I don't know if we see much more of Sid.
He's there, but it's not the same. They fight at the next In Your House again in like a lumberjack match or something, but he walks out, gets pelted with more trash as he's walking out. So that was very interesting. Then more production issues. Nash does something to Tatanka, but they miss it.
Yes, they're watching Sid walk out.
Yeah. It looks like an elbow,
but you can't
tell because he's laying next to him, and then he just pins him.
Why he didn't pick him up and powerbomb him again is one of these are the little things that get me. I don't know why, but the production misses it again, so you don't see it. So literally, it's like, why is he on the ground? Oh, the pay-per-view's over. Yeah,
okay.
He's
thank God he's over because this isn't good.
Yeah, he's pinning him on like a wide shot, and you're like. Who's on top?
What happened? And that's it. Then they go away. If you go on, which is the worst thing ever, but cagematch.com, and it's not just them, any other review or thing, if you read a blog or anything, most people believe this is one of, if not the number one worst pay-per-view in WWE history. It is ranked, like I said, on Cage Match. I think it gets like a 1 out of 10. It's bad.
Who gave it the 1?
Like everybody that votes, all 30.
No, I mean, who gave it 1?
Oh,
Excellent question.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The 38 people that vote, they average it all together, but
negatives weren't available.
Yeah. Anyway, so as we always do on these Run It Back shows, we talked about it earlier. Let's do these categories, which were extremely hard to come up with.
Dear Lord.
So this is not our best work. We will do as good as we can here in the final.
I don't think it's going to be as funny as because finding like good stuff is really tough here.
All right, here we go. Let's start there. Funniest moment of the night. I mean, is there... Normally, we can at least take something out of Heenan's commentary or Jesse or something. Man, there's nothing here that cracks you up. Do you have anything?
The funniest moment of the night? I mean, no, I don't know. I would maybe, can we switch that to the most Doc Hendrix's translation,
Go
maybe
the
most
other way, yeah.
uncomfortable moment of the night. There really is. Ryan, we looked.
The foot, and that's not
The
even
foot in the
funny.
mouth. Yeah, I don't know, but
I
yeah.
could see a little kid or an older person going, "Oh, ha, he's getting his foot in his mouth." Like, that would have to be it. There's nothing really funny. And this was also hard because they kind of coincide sometimes. The line of the night. Doc Hendrix and Vince. The line of night is probably unbelievable because he says it 48 times. But this was hard. There were a lot of dad jokes in this.
It is. Doc Hendrix is terrible on the mic.
I would say you've got the one.
The line of the night after Bret Hart defeats Jerry the King Lawler. Doc Hendrix says, talk about the agony of defeat.
Get it?
Defeat.
Not the. Defeat.
Defeat.
Yeah.
Shut up!
That's the best we could come up with.
That's regular Chris Rock material right there. That's pretty good. Okay. This also hard. What is aged the best? I said the credits.
I would say
when it said up next and then click to the next pay-per-view, that's what aged the best.
What's that
for
line
me.
our buddy Ed likes? The best time I ever had watching King of the Ring 95 was when I was turning it off. I put the Bret Lawler feud. It's actually, if you go back, a good feud. I think the Lawler Bret feud has aged the best. If you just took that feud, like I would watch that match again. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, it was
match.
fine.
To me, Bret Lawler, the feud has aged the best.
Now, it gets bad after this when we decide, you know what? We got nasty classic Vince. Nasty feet. Yeah, nasty feet. You know what we're going to do now? Nasty teeth.
Yeah.
Let's get Isaac King.
And then give Hakushi Bret's head in a box. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, dude. What are we doing? What's aged the worst of this show? Our terrible impression. Okay. What has aged the worst? And since I said it, Vince's commentary, we talked about this on the 95 show. I mean, he was never great, but he played well off other guys, and he wasn't a clown. Right. And now, hit that high-pitched, way over the top in those three lines that we've said 1,000 times now, maybe even more than he has. 1, 2, no, unbelievable. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. It's like listening to a promo from Jacob Fatu. He just takes his 3 catchphrases and put them into one sentence
every time.
It's brutal.
It would have been really interesting on that. One of those when Vince had that doc. I know this had nothing to do with it, but for people that a lot of the stuff on the Vince doc that we already knew on that Netflix, like something like that. Like, Vince, why did you decide to go all over the top? Like, why did you change your announcing style? Because I think he would have. That's not like a question that he would have ran from. He probably would have had a decent, like, oh yeah, because of the MTV or because of the new generation.
If he even remembered.
Right. Or if he even thinks he did. I don't know.
What do you got
King
there?
Mabel winning. I think he's the worst king of all time.
Without
it didn't work, and it did not work. And it did not get over. The tournament's terrible. Everything about this. King Mabel winning has aged the worst.
This is very tough as well. What is the most rewatchable scene? What's the most rewatchable part of this show?
You said it already. Sid's interview.
Sid's interview, okay.
Sid's
interview. Got the foot, I guess. But you are really scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
We got to the end before we had to really almost think back and get this one. Yeah, to me, Sid, I can listen to this. I don't think he's as bad.
Good interview.
Sid, like you said, got caught a few times, but so have there's other guys. I've got Luger's been caught a few times.
Yeah.
I still like Luger. I still like
got
Sid.
caught 2 weeks ago
with his pants down.
Completely lost his train of thought in the middle of the promo with Cena.
But I think those ones are just more. Sid's are funny, and that's why they went viral. You know. So I think Sid's interview. I like I said. I like Sid's interviews.
I thought it was good. You could say that was the best part of the show. To be honest,
be.
He did it very well, and it's believable.
Pre-match.
You're like, this guy is psycho.
Yeah,
this guy.
He sold it well.
Yeah, he did.
And
well.
his music also was
great.
psycho. Like it sound like oh man, great.
That music is definitely the most underrated music, maybe forgot
Dude, the
about
whole guy.
music.
If you
but
talk underrated, this guy,
awesome.
everything about him. I mean,
I'd go a step further, and we had our music draft, and nobody took it. One of the very
I
first
forgot.
ones
I
I
forgot.
said at the end, I'm like, let's talk about what hasn't been taken. Sid's music. Like, it's one of the best songs
I
ever.
totally
But
forgot.
But they forget the whole era. you
Right.
know? If he had that music in 88, nobody's forgetting about it.
if he was here in
Right.
the WWE in '88,
Nobody's forgetting.
oh,
Okay, best match. We both said this is pretty easy. Brett Lawler.
Brett Lawler.
Probably about the only watchable thing on this show as far as a match goes. Worst
Brett
match.
always delivers.
Nothing was like god awful. It was just like the Roadie and Savio. What are we doing?
Hurry up and end this, please.
So what do you got for the worst?
I put Yoko versus Savio just because the two didn't work together well, and the match ends in count out.
You know, Mabel again. I got the Taker match just because, in case you've never watched this before, not a big Taker fan whatsoever. In 95 Taker, holy smokes, that's as bad as Taker as it gets. And, you know, those two, not great.
You know, for all the people, they know, again, I'm not saying the Taker is the worst guy ever, because he's not. But when people talk like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Scott Hall, all these guys that can work with big, little guys, go back and the Taker struggles with big guys. When he's in there with a guy his size, because he's not, I know, and I don't mean strong compared to me. I'm sure he would pummel me. But
he needs guys he can throw around.
Yeah, in little guys, though. He can't pick up like Hogan can, like even Nash can, or some of these. He's not as strong as those guys, which, again, I don't like the big guys that aren't powerhouses.
Yeah, how about the entire show? Do you have a nitpick? How do you even possibly nitpick anything when the show is already so terrible? What can you?
But I can. Ryan, the lack of your stars on the card would be my nitpick.
That's great.
You've got Jeff Jarrett standing on the outside. You've got Razor Ramon standing on the outside.
Yep.
Where's Owen Hart? Is Lex Luger? He's
Lex
still with
Luger
the company.
is not on the show at all.
Where are these guys? You take a few of these guys.
British Bulldog not on the show.
Where are they? You take a few of these guys and put a few of these other guys in the tournament. Maybe we're not sitting here dumping all over
Shawn
this.
Michaels fights one match, he's gone.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the not using some key players that you had, your depth of your roster is definitely not good enough if these guys are healthy to not have them on the card.
I think they were thinking, like we have said, and they did maybe in the past, or maybe this is the first time they really did it. They started using the King of the Ring to launch somebody.
Yes.
And I think that's where they thought they were going here. Because look at it. Mabel didn't work, obviously. Austin, Triple H, Road Dogg. You know, these guys, Edge. They tried to, this is where we're going to give
Billy.
this guy the elevation. And obviously it didn't
really
work in the long
Ryan,
run.
to be honest with you, with most people, it really I mean, do people even remember that Brock Lesnar's the King of the Ring?
I didn't till you mentioned it.
I don't know that this, other than the first two, were my biggest two Kings of the Ring, Brett and Owen.
Yeah.
They're the ones I remember. They're always going to be my Kings of the Ring.
Yeah. My nitpick, I want at least one free month of Peacock for having to sit through. This is what I want. At least 1 month. Like, throw me $10 for having to sit here and rewatch this. This is brutal, dude. This is just...
They pulled all the offensive stuff on Peacock. You left up 95 King of the Ring. The whole thing's offensive.
Yeah, Piper's pulled out of there. But, you know, and here's the other thing, though. Like, it's not even that bad. Like, SummerSlam 95 is so bad that I had fun watching it.
Right.
Because it was so... Like, this is just, like, the most generic... nothing happening.
I'd rather watch the Chamber of Horrors.
I would rather watch Legends of the Ring match where Jake was all hammered. Like, at least that's funny. Like, this is nothing happened.
Nothing. And it's bad people that I shouldn't
Yes.
say people, bad gimmicks that I didn't like, nor did I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's brutal, dude. That being said, Nick, what's your moment of the night? The finish?
Let me look at my moment. Oh, I took Brett shoving his Lawler's own foot into his mouth.
Yeah.
I think that's I'm still sitting here going like, how do you, isn't he, like, he's in his 40s at least at that point,
It
isn't he?
makes sense,
How does
too,
he-
that
Yeah,
it
it does.
happened out like that. I've got the fans constantly throwing stuff because this show stinks, and I am not an ECW fan. I didn't even have cable, let alone pass, to be able to watch ECW at 1 a.m. or whatever time
Right.
it was on back then. The ECW chants and Vince going, listen to him. And the throwing stuff, because this was not good. To me, that's what I'm going to remember
Yeah.
when I never watch this again. That's what I'm going to remember.
Fair enough.
Hot take, Nick?
Hottest take. Mabel's the worst king of the ring of all time. That's what I said before. That's my hottest take on this. It's just a terrible waste of a king of the ring, a waste of a push. I'd say he's worse than every queen, too. He is the worst person to ever win this tournament.
He may be... Yeah, obviously, I'm sure there's somebody's going to go, well, hell, D'Lo Brown was the European champion. Yeah. He may be like the worst major winner in company history.
He main event SummerSlam.
Yeah. I mean, and he won a tournament, which gave him a main event. Like, when I don't think of the European title. I don't think of, like, the AEW TNT title. Like, this seems like a major thing. They are pushing you main event. He may be the worst person to ever be put in a main event spot like this. It's bad.
It's you say we have to sit down and think, but I'm definitely throwing his
He's up
name in.
there.
Yes, his name is in the hat.
It's in the hat
for 100% sure.
Mine is going back and watching it first time in 30 years. You hear it all the time, and we say it all the time. 95 is definitely the worst era ever. You hear a lot about Diesel. Always takes the brunt of everything. He's the worst drawing champion ever. And we always say, well, look who he's fighting. He's fighting a not ready Shawn Michaels. He's fighting Mabel. You know, that's why he was the worst drawing champ to that point of all time. That said, I don't know that he and Brett and The Undertaker do anything to really stand out. And when you look at this era, yeah, it is not completely their fault whatsoever.
No,
they did everything they could. But it really does somewhat tarnish their legacy when you go back and you watch, and you're watching Brett in matches against Hakushi. Again, it's the guys they're fighting, but it's a Kiss My Foot match, and it's against a dentist, and it's some other, and you're like, man, that kind of does lower them. You know, I can't put them up there with Macho Man.
No.
So, like, at least Brett anyway. You know, Diesel obviously is not that high, but I can't put them up there because when he was on top, he's fighting Bob Backlund, and he's not making it great. You know, you have good guys fighting not so good guys, and they can lift them up a little bit. Did that Diesel match really, or Bob Backlund really? I don't know, man. It's tough. So it pains me to say it because I love both those guys.
Me
but
too.
I'm like, man, it does knock them down a little bit. A little ding in their legacy.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not like, I'll get rid of them.
No.
Little ding in their legacy. Going back and watching this crap.
Probably got 4 or 5 guys at most at this point who can be in a main event match in the WWE.
Yeah. If that.
Yeah.
Who won the night, Nick? Who's the big winner of the night? Mikey. That's who. Mikey wins. Let me tell you who didn't win.
The people.
Us. We didn't win.
And this is going to contradict what I've said, Ryan. I couldn't find. It's Mabel, I guess. I mean, he wins the King of the Ring.
Got a couple paydays out of it.
He pins the Undertaker. He goes on to main event WrestleMania. So
It's not his fault that
Mabel,
they gave him this push, knowing he's a giant guy that can't move.
Well, it's not his fault. I'm going to bet you he didn't pick out his outfit either. That was not. I'm gonna because I don't. You know, it's not this stuff. Like I don't think he does. Yeah. So But even if he didn't, I mean, this guy's not. Viscera was not good.
Yeah. Big Daddy V.
Big Daddy, yeah, V was not good.
I think that tells you when you have such a hard time figuring out who won the night, and you went with the guy who is the worst person ever, and he still won the night. That tells you how pathetic this show is. I mean, that says it all, right?
Yeah.
Legacy of the pay-per-view, to me, we've said it. It is the worst.
Yep.
The legacy of this, we've talked about this before. 95 is the worst year ever. The pay-per-views, arguably, are all the worst pay-per-views of the Big Five era. The Royal Rumble could definitely be
the fastest, most intense Royal.
That might be the worst Rumble ever. WrestleMania 11, we ranked second on the list. Arguably could be number one.
That held the number one spot for how many years until 27?
King of the Ring, obviously. SummerSlam 95 and Survivor Series 95 only had the Brett Diesel match is great, but everything else is awful. What does it say about this, where this might be the worst pay-per-view of the year out of all that trash?
And I'm wondering if it's even worse than WCW at this point. And is it the worst pay-per-view in wrestling history?
Some people say it is. Some people say it is. Yeah,
that's my hottest take too. I'm sorry, legacy. It is the worst to me. I will never watch this thing. I will never sit through this again.
One thing we didn't mention, which I totally forgot.
Excuse me.
The King of the Ring, it's so royal and everything. They have doors that open. Mm-hmm. The two dudes opening the doors are the Hardy Boys. How funny is that?
Best work they've ever done.
Maybe that's the funniest moment of the night. Those two guys opening the door.
That's how they got into the WWE?
They were job guys before.
Okay.
And then, I guess they
that's
were still
right. I've seen a job match. I've seen one with, I think, Jeff.
Jeff was working first. Well, we pretty much said all we can. Anything else before we go here?
No, Ryan, I don't think anything else.
Save your time. It's 2.5 hours on Peacock. We just nailed this whole thing in like an hour. You're welcome. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way through, hopefully you did. Anymore. You didn't just see what we were doing. Well, hey, that's it for him. I guess Nick, luckily he made it 1 hour, and then his contract ended about 15 seconds ago, so he's out of here. Thank you so much. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. And until next time, job guy out.
You smell something, it's us, because we're the stuff.